Hello, my Virgo friends. This is Kristen Redmond, Astrological Intuitive, and today we're going to be going over the planetary aspects that are making up the landscape of 2024 for you. And this is a year that's really set to be a year of actualization of old habits and patterns that are holding you back and overcoming them, right? Now, we look at things, right? And Virgo's a sign of hard work. You are the sign that's always the first in and the last to leave. And a lot of times that can get taken advantage of. Now, in astrology, it's black or white, right? I found there's a lot of Virgos that are like that, where they're all about hard work and they're, doing everything they can. And then I know Leos that are, or Virgos that are completely lazy and they're here to learn the value of hard work and how important that is to their purpose this lifetime. So wherever you fall on that scale, there is something to recognize and realize that we find ourselves in patterns, right, that affect us. And so this is a year where we are seeing them. One of the main things that's going to be happening for you is recognizing those patterns in career and how maybe, like I said earlier, there's that I'm always doing everything, and then I keep getting passed up for the promotion or whatever it might be. Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity, is coming into your 10th house. This is something, it hasn't been there in a long time. This is a 12-year cycle. And when you have the planet of luck and opportunity moving into your house of life, purpose, and career, lucky breaks come out of nowhere. Maybe right now you can't figure out how that's going to happen, but in this coming year, things will fall into place that bring these things to you. Saturn's the planet that makes us work hard for things and earn them in order to get the blessings. Jupiter just gives them to us out of blind luck because we've already put in the hard work and we just deserve a break. And it's giving you that in your career house. Fortune favors the brave, right? That's the thing with Jupiter. It says you have to have faith in yourself and the universe that these opportunities can come and that you're deserving of them. And when we do that, that's when miracles can happen. This is a year where you realize on all levels, if you don't make the changes and if you don't take control of the situation, somebody else will in your life, right? Yeah, no problem there, huh? But here, let's look at this though. What falls into that, right? What falls into career? We're looking at your money house, right? Because our career, that's how we make our money, obviously, right? So here we are going in to the 12th house, to the second house, I'm sorry, this year. And we have what's known as the South Node, kind of making its transit through there. This happens every 20 years. Our North Node, or the True Node, is our soul's purpose this lifetime. It's why we're here. It's what we're doing here. It's like the vein that we're meant to do to live in our soul's purpose. That's the North Star where we're meant to head, right? Now, on the opposite side of it is our South Node, and that's what's familiar. That's our comfort zone. That's what we're moving away from. But a lot of time, that's where those bad habits and that's where the old karma that holds us back stays. And it's going through that house of money for you. It's been there, it's ready to move out. And as it does that, it's breaking old patterns that affect your money karma. You're reevaluating your relationship with money. And it's also not just like reevaluating your relationship with money. It's reevaluating how you feel about yourself and how worthy you are, how much you value your contributions, and if you are getting fairly compensated for them. This can apply to anybody who's self-employed and the prices that they're charging, whatever it might be, right? Maybe you're working for way too little and you deserve that raise. That is also something here too that South Node is calling on, saying, what is in that past? What is back in that subconscious mind that is telling you that you don't deserve more, that you're not worthy of more? Yes, you're right. This can go beyond just work, right? This can go into relationship. This can be relationships with children. This can be just your view of yourself. This is a year where you start to realize, under the power of the South Node moving through and clearing out that old baggage and increasing your self-esteem, you are ready to let these things go. You're ready to start making those changes. You're ready to hear that voice and hate and face it head on, right? And say, yes, I am worthy. Yes, I am deserving. Now, because we have wherever the nodes are in the sky, that's where the eclipses are also going to be. And so we have the eclipses, which bring in new beginnings. That's one of the most important things as an astrologer. That's what you look at in somebody's chart when they come for a reading. Where are the eclipses hitting their chart? Because that's where the most change and new beginnings are coming through. Yours are happening in the second house. That when I say you, I mean Virgos in general. You specifically, your chart may be impacted differently. Maybe the new beginnings are coming in relationship. I don't know, because I'd have to look at your chart. And if you want to do a reading, I've got a link below for that where you can get a reading. But here for Virgos, it's in that house of finance. It is in that house of self-worth. So these new ideas and these new beliefs are coming through, and they're kind of the precipice for you to move forward in getting the money that you deserve, right? This is also very important, especially around March 25th, because that's when we have that Libra eclipse hitting there, where this is great for, like, let's say you want to get a mortgage, you want to get financing for a vehicle, something along those lines. It's a really, really great energy that's happening in that time frame. Great time for a loan. Excuse me. Ah, crazy cough there. Getting over a little bit of a respiratory thing. So, anyway, now another thing too that I just had a thought on is, Jupiter moving through that 10th house, the house of lucky breaks and opportunities. Jupiter aligns in a 12-year alignment. This only happens once every 12 years with the planet Uranus this year on April 20th. That can bring through unexpected lucky breaks and opportunities, like out of nowhere. That's happening in that career house. So we're talking about money here. I'm looking at that eclipse that's happening in March 25th, which is really close to that time frame. You may find that things move and they move quickly in that time frame. Maybe that's where you have to take a different job, or maybe there is this advancement that pops up. These things, when you combine the planet of luck with the planet of unexpected luck, right? And it's happening for you in career, which directly is a financial house. So just saying. But now that we're talking about self-worth and the things that we deserve and the things that we've come to realize, let's go on to relationships and love. This is definitely a year where you are gaining clarity on your limitations and the struggles that have happened in relationship. I think you've already been going through that, right? Um, because you're redefining what commitment is to you in general, right? We look at this and we look at how Saturn is the planet of commitment. It is the planet of responsibilities. And that guy's going to be moving into your 7th house of partnerships and commitments. And it takes 29 years to go around the wheel. The past 29 years, it's been working in your house of, it's the 6th house, which is just daily work, daily grind, all of things Virgo, because you naturally rule the 6th house, right? So there's just been a lot of extra responsibility and just nonstop feeling like you're climbing up a mountain, right? When it comes to that, working hard on all of the tangible things. Now that's moving into your house of relationships. This is a time when you're ready to get a little bit more serious. Maybe you're ready to make a commitment with somebody. Maybe you're ready to move in together. Maybe you're ready to plan a future that's different, because now your mindset's a little bit shifted with relationship, in knowing that you're ready to make some more mature choices, right? And you know what your limits and your standards are. And maybe you've gone through a gamut of difficulty in relationship. And now you want to create something new, and what the fabric and the landscape of what relationship looks like moving forward for the next, 30 years or more. And you're ready to explain that to whomever. This is what I'm looking for now. And as Saturn conjuncts with Mars, the planet that gives you confidence, on March 22nd, that goes through May 1st, you may find that you have that confidence to say these things. That's the impetus that gets it moving forward as well. It brings the issues to light. So you might find in that time frame, maybe you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, lady. You'll find out in this time frame, right? It'll come to light in that, where you recognize your non-negotiables when it comes to relationship and what you're no longer going to settle for. That's not the name of the game. So this, especially if this is a situation, right, my Virgo friends, because you stay in comfort zones for a while. Let's say you've been in a bad situation. You've expressed what it is you need, but this person just won't do the work. They won't do their part, and there's nothing you can do to get that to change. And it makes you unhappy. Your soul is telling you it's time to change it. This time frame, you may find that you have the courage to end things if you have been on the fence for a long time. Or at least you get the fire in you to have that last final conversation. I don't know. There's so many different things that can happen, and everybody's a little bit different, but in general, that's a pretty major thing, no matter what, right? I look at all things spiritual that none of us know everything, right? Nobody is going to know everything because life is ever changing. Our souls have a loose plan, when we come here, and things like astrology and going to a medium and all these things. These are just tools to help us know what is happening in this moment. It's the potential of what can be, and we can give you advice on what to do to make these things happen, right? No matter what, we all have the power to change that. If you hear something you don't like, you have the power to change it, right? But we are the co-creators of our life. It is our life story that we're here to do. And I am here to tell you today that this is a year where you really start to recognize your power in this storytelling, right? We have the ability at all of the moon cycles to manifest what we want, to see things come to fruition that we've planned, where things reach a culmination and an end. But there are certain moons that are going to be a little bit stronger to do these things. And for you, these are the Virgo new moon. This is where you're going to plant your seeds of intention for what you want, right? This is where your manifesting powers are at their absolute height. You can do this at any new moon, don't get me wrong. But the one that's extra strong and extra vital to you, especially if it has to do with these things that we discussed earlier, is going to be September 2nd this year. This is where we plant our seeds. This is where we have the faith in the darkness. Remember, we talked about that. Fortune favors the brave. And the brave are the ones that trust and believe when they don't see the light, that there will be light that comes. And when they do, and they believe in themselves, they believe in what their intuition is telling them to do, that's when the miracles happen, right? So this is where we go into the darkness there and put our faith in. And then the full moon this year, you put those seeds in around your birthday last year for things that you wanted to do, right? This one, of course, the new moon I just said before in September, that'll come into fruition in February of 25. But the full moon this year is on February 24th. These are the seeds that you planted 6 months ago, or 6 months before this, before in February. These are the ones, right, where what you asked for, you will see results coming through. And I feel a lot of it is guidance on what to do, right? Listen to what your intuition tells you. It's never going to guide you wrong. What guides us wrong is our conscious mind, and that's based out of fear. And unfortunately, you as a Virgo, you are ruled by Mercury, the planet of conscious thinking. So this is always in hyperdrive, and to the point where you're such a great analyzer, right? That's why you're like anybody can throw a problem your way, and Vanilla Ice, you're going to solve it, right? You can get through anything and figure out the root cause of anything because you're so good at analyzing details. But the problem is that it has a shadow side too, right? And a lot of times you can be overly analytical of others, or yourself. It always tends to be the worst on yourself. You will overanalyze your actions, words, thoughts to death, to the point where you will lose sleep over it. Virgo rules the digestive tract in the world of astrology, and so you may find that when you're overthinking things and worrying about things too much, trying to figure out how to come up with a solution for something, that there isn't a solution yet, but you keep forcing it, and you keep beating yourself up for not doing it right, you're going to start having stomach issues, whether that's ulcers or indigestion or just unknown stomach issues. That's the time that you go within and go, where am I not digesting the things that are coming through? Are there emotions that need to be worked through? Do I need to give myself a little bit more grace and understanding? That's always something as well too. So yes, follow the moons, trust yourself, right? So what we're going to look at now is some specific birthdays, right? Now, your birthday might not fall in this, and that's absolutely okay. You might find that something resonates better than another. All of the Virgos here, you will be going through this at some point in time, and it may be sooner, it may be later, it may have already happened, whatever. So what resonates, take it. What doesn't, don't. You know what I mean? Just here we go. So if well, I flipped my page because I was looking at the moons. All right, so if your birthday is August 24th to September 15th, Jupiter out there, that planet of luck and expansion, it magnifies things, right? It blows things up sometimes, is going to be squaring your sun. So the overanalyzing that I was talking about earlier might be in hyperdrive this year, a little tiny bit. But just recognize that. Recognize it, walk away, give yourself a break, and know that ultimately what Jupiter's trying to do here, right? It's trying to force you out of your comfort zones a little bit more than others that we were talking about earlier. Maybe you have landed yourself into something where it's like, I just don't know how to get out. Jupiter helps you find that way, right? This is a time frame when growth and expansion comes if you seek it. If you want it, go for it. But know that you're going to have to put in that work as well to make those changes, right? If your birthday is August 26th to September 13th, Saturn out there in the sky is going to be opposing your sun. Now, this is a once every 29-year cycle, so this is a pretty big deal. You are definitely going to feel like your limits are being tested left and right this year, because remember, Saturn is a planet of restriction, and it makes us learn through lessons. And you might be finding that this is a year where you are getting tested on your limits and how much you'll tolerate, and when you will voice that you don't want to handle other people's burdens anymore, right? Voice whatever it is you need to say. Use that Mercury to your advantage, right? You've already analyzed it enough. You know what you're going to say. Trust that the words will come out, But definitely this is a year for honoring your boundaries. If you've recognized what those boundaries are, especially since we've been talking about all of that, Saturn's moving in, setting those boundaries for you, helping you to recognize them. This is a year where you realize it a little bit stronger, right? Relationships are definitely an area of challenge and growth for you this year, because like I said, that's where Saturn's moving into. If your birthday is September 3rd, this is the year where Pluto, the planet that takes 250 years to move around the sun, is making a connection with your sun. It's a positive connection. Now, this is a once in a lifetime thing. They move so slow that, yes, this is a little more birth date specific, but you may be feeling it if your birthday is around it, near it, way past, I don't even know, whatever. Here you are, you're feeling it, right? It's a planet of transformation. It's asking you to make the deep changes necessary. Dig into the dark recesses. Find those karmic blocks. Challenge them. Dig out the skeletons in the closet, right? Because that's where we come to the light, is when we go through the darkness. And so this is definitely a long time coming kind of energy. This isn't just going to happen overnight. You've been going through it. You've been going through it. You've been going through the losses. You've been going through the deaths. You've been going through the transformations. And now is that time where you're ready to stand in your power. You have been going through that proverbial caterpillar to the butterfly scenario. And when we look at it from a scientific standpoint, that is probably a pretty painful situation, right? You got this caterpillar that knows it's not supposed to be who it is anymore. It's like, I'm not really who I'm supposed to be, a butterfly. I can't be up. I'm slinking around on the ground, and this has only gotten me so far. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to be me. I'm ready for the real me to emerge, right? So then it goes for a season into a cocoon, hides away, right? Maybe that sounds familiar to you, right? You had to hide away to find out who you wanted to be reinvented into in the first place. And when it goes into the cocoon, it has to let things go, right? That might be relationships, that might be jobs, that might be people that you've carried your whole life. There's a lot of things this little caterpillar has got to let go of. And it goes in there. And in that process of transformation, it doesn't just sprout the wings and fly away. It actually liquefies into the cocoon. And you got to admit, I don't know what the pain threshold and tolerance of caterpillars, but that's got to be pretty painful, right? It's the same for you. You've gone through that pain, you've gone through the grief, right? But now, where this is at in the sky, you are emerging as that butterfly. You are the newest version of yourself. You know who you are, you know your identity, and you're ready to fly into the world with it, right? Definitely. You know, you've shed what no longer works for you, and you are ready to step into what does. And especially if that comes into career, like we were talking about earlier, if you're coming out with the new you, the authentic you, right? Because where Pluto's moving into this year is in Aquarius. It's saying what dramatic changes need to happen for the real you to come out. Here you are coming out, and you've got Jupiter right behind it, ready to bring you lucky opportunities that fit with this new version of who you are. So trust in yourself, trust in your heart, right? Don't listen to this so much. Trust in your heart and believe in yourself. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a wonderful 2024.